Well, hello. There's this is just kind of an update video on DLSS 4.5. So everything seems to run fine unless I'm in a group flight or flying something that's a little bit more resource intensive. So in a group flight yesterday, I had a bunch of issues. I'm using 4.5 right now and preset M. I had a bunch of issues yesterday in the group flight where all my numbers, all my stats, like GPU headroom, CPU headroom, and VRAM, all within, I have plenty of all of it. And usually I don't really have too many problems in group flights. That being said, my frame rates were going up and down wildly fluctuating throughout the group flight. So I switched back to DLSS 4 for the rest of the group flight. Everything was fine. No fluctuations. Numbers are still the same. My headroom and VRAM were all still within, my normal operating parameters, but the frame rates didn't reflect that. So, come to the conclusion that 4.5 is still in beta. It's not quite ready yet for mass consumption. But at the same time, it's very strange because, again, in single player or in single flight, like when I'm flying right now, like all by myself, there's a couple people in multiplayer up in front of me, I can see. There's another thing going on with the servers right now, and I'll get to that in a second. But right now, I'm using 52% of my VRAM. That wasn't a stutter. I actually hit the pause button by mistake. I'm hitting only 7.7 gigabytes of VRAM right now, which is 51%. I have 55% CPU headroom and 42% GPU headroom. Plenty of power right now for the sim, and everything's running fine. I'm at my target frame rate. Everything looks great. But again, I'm not flying in a group. I don't know how many people have to be in that group to tank the frame rate. There were quite a bit of people in the group flight yesterday, so. But still. And we were also flying in an area where there wasn't too much going on. We were in Africa doing a safari in a helicopter group. And it wasn't a great experience with 4.5. Yeah, right now I'm at low to the ground. I have 33% GPU headroom and only using 8 gigs of RAM right now, 53%. Yeah, and everything looks great. So, there's definitely some weirdness with it right now. I'm not 100% convinced it's ready for release, but at the same time, newer software a lot of times requires the newest hardware. I have a 4080, and my flight experience in 2024 has been absolutely fantastic since like Sim Update 3. Well, yeah, I mean, I've had the least amount of problems since Sim Update 3. Outside of like stupid little bullshit that everybody gets here and there. Anyway, so that's my thoughts right now on 4.5. I'll use it when I'm flying by myself, but I'm switching back to 4 for group flights and stuff, which is easy enough with the software like the DLSS swapper. You just make a couple little changes and you're done. What's going on with the servers right now, the West Coast server of the US is gone. The East Coast server was gone yesterday. The North Europe server is also gone for me. So right now, the only servers I have available are East USA, Southeast Asia, and West Europe. I have three servers that show up in the sim, and nothing else. So I think they're doing work on the servers because yesterday the East server was gone, and now it's back. And all throughout the last month, I was having problems with the East server with multiplayer popping in and out. Like it would be here and then it would disappear. Like all the people would disappear, and then all of a sudden they'd reappear, and it would repeat throughout my flight. So there's definitely something going on with the servers right now. Just FYI, it's no real big deal since, you know, as long as there's working servers, which it seems like East USA is working now, and nobody's disappeared yet. Yeah, I have plenty of headroom, plenty of VRAM, 52% VRAM right now, which is, you know, really good, honestly. A lot of people lose VRAM and don't have enough of it. I have 52%. I have 49% left. And I only have a 16 gig card, which kind of goes to prove that a lot of people just don't know how to set up their systems right. You know, it's not an accusation. It's just an observation. A lot of people have issues with their VRAM on, you know, and a lot, you know, granted, a lot of people are only using 8 gigs of VRAM, but there's also a lot of people on 4090s and 5090s with tons of VRAM, 24 gigs, 32 gigs of VRAM, and they're still running out of it. So, you know, I don't know. I have a 16 gig card and I have 51% usage right now. So I don't know what to tell you. You know, out of 16 gigs, I'm only using half. In VR, by the way, which is a huge VRAM killer. And everything looks great. I'm super sampling in my headset. Solid frame rates. It's super smooth right now. No issues. The ghosting is so much better with preset M. Ghosting and artifacts are largely reduced. Ghosting is almost gone completely. Almost. But it's, you know, it's still there here and there. Tiny little bits of it, but it's not too bad. Like, especially over the water is where I would get the most ghosting. But, nope. I'm getting a little bit of artifacting over the water with, you know, just because of motion reprojection, pretty much. But it's not a big deal. It's not bad at all. Alright, VRAM's going up. I'm at 55% now. We'll see where it ends up while we're over the city. Still got 58% CPU headroom and 27% GPU headroom. So I'm doing great right now, you know, no issues. I'm using the frame rate FPS counter in the OpenXR toolkit, so you can't see it on the screen on the mirror. Yep, VRAM's going up because we're heading towards a more graphically intensive area. We're just about to fly into San Francisco. I still have 30% GPU headroom though, and 56% usage on VRAM. So yesterday I posted a video, and it was a very non-scientific flight test of 4.5. Today is going to be slightly more intensive as far as the numbers and you know, CPU GPU usage still at 21% GPU. Now normally with DLSS 4 I'd be at around 18, 19, 20% over the city. And that's low altitude over the city, like doing like acrobatics and stuff with this plane. And granted, this plane is pretty low usage as far as resources are concerned. I'm using the Aeroplanes Heaven P-51, which I fly quite a bit, so I figured, it's a good thing for me to test with because I know how it flies, I know how much usage it does. It's pretty low usage. Alright, so right now I'm down to 17% GPU usage, 16, 14. But only 66% usage on VRAM. I'm up to 10 gigs now because we're over a city. But no frame rate drops. Back up to 24%, 25% GPU. Yeah. So the numbers all are very similar to me for DLSS 4.5 and 4. Maybe slightly less, maybe 2%, 3% less here and there, but honestly, that's still well within my operating parameters for getting my target frame rate. Yeah, I haven't dropped a frame since at all. And I still have plenty of resources left. And everything looks fantastic, I wish, it would be similar with there's P-47D. I wish it would be, although that's not what he's actually flying, an AP-32. I have no idea what that is. Anyway, yeah, I wish it was, you would get the same performance that I get with DLSS 4 in a group flight, because then I wouldn't have to switch back and forth, but whatever. And the image quality changes. Yeah, no, not even any stuttering coming in on approach on an airport. This is Oakland Airport. And San Francisco International is right over there. Yeah, I'm at 9.2 gigabytes VRAM, 61%. 59% CPU headroom, 32% GPU headroom right now. Yeah, absolutely fine. Like tons of resources left for weather and whatnot, and I have quite a bit of clouds up. It's not like there are no clouds or anything. There's tons of clouds. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just beta software right now, I guess. Hopefully they make it a little bit more friendly for group flights. But for now, I will be switching back and forth because I do quite a bit of group flights, and there are quite a bit of people in those group flights. There's usually around 20 other pilots flying around with us. And DLSS 4 isn't bad. It's just it's not as clear. It's not as sharp, and you get a lot of those ghosting and artifacting issues here and there. It's not horrible. I really wouldn't complain if, DLSS 4 was all we got. Sure, the image quality can be a little sketchy at times with the ghosting and whatnot, but it's not horrible. But yeah, it's quite a departure from DLSS 4 as far as image quality. It is worth it. I have a hard time recommending it because yesterday I wholeheartedly recommended it because it was before my group flight. But today I'm having a hard time recommending it in all situations. If all you do is solo flights, then yeah, it's great. Outside of that, I think DLSS 4 is the way to go for right now. For any kind of group flying, and I don't know what else. And just to address certain people who had problems watching my video yesterday because all the jerky camera movements, I am in VR, and when I wear the headset, it's attached to my face, and when I talk, every now and again you'll get a little, a lot of this shit, because I'm pretty animated when I talk sometimes. I can't help it. But, feel free not to watch my videos. There's a ton of videos out there that are 2D only, then they don't fly in VR, and it's probably what those guys are used to, but VR flyers know what I'm talking about. It's, my headset in particular is a little susceptible to, weird jittering while I'm speaking, so yeah, that's all it is. It's no big deal. I'm not going to take offense to it. I understand. You might not be used to it. And it's not like that throughout most of my videos. A lot of times I don't do any speaking in my videos. There's just me flying around in VR. So, but, that's where it comes from. It's not a quality issue so much as it's I'm using a VR headset, and that's every now and again my head will move. So that's where I'm at right now with DLSS 4. Just an observation. Some people can't get it to work right. Some people have automatically switched back, and that's fine. Guys, do what you want to do. Whatever works for you, whatever you prefer. There's no wrong way or right way to sim as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. For me, I like the changes. I like the fact that the clarity is there. You get less of those graphical weirdness. So it's worth it for me, and especially in situations like this. There's only like 4 or 5 people here, so it doesn't seem like they're eating up any of my resources. All right, rolling into San Francisco for a flyover. I'm at 8.5 gigabytes VRAM and 21% GPU headroom. No stutters. Nope. Everything is super smooth. Yeah, no problems. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. Again, this is day 2 of using it, so it's not like, any of us have had any extensive experiences with it. VR Flight Sim guy did his video, and he likes it. He likes it a lot. I don't know if he's tried any group flights with it yet, but then again, he has a much more powerful GPU, and it's really hard to judge the use cases for the top end systems when most of us use a good amount less powerful CPUs and GPUs. You know what I mean? I'm on a 5800X3D with a 4080 with no plans to upgrade because of the current situation of RAM and GPU pricing. Is just I'm getting good performance to excellent performance most of the time. I don't, especially with DLSS 4, I have no issues with it outside of, the issues everybody has. Nobody's getting 90 frames a second solid natively. Everybody's using some sort of reprojection in their VDXR or their MetaQuest or their Pimax, everybody's using some sort of reprojection, whatever it's called on their headset. ASW is what it's called for Quest. It's called motion reprojection on almost everything else, but everybody's using something to help them out with frame rates and smooth flight. And if you're not using it, you're probably getting a lot of jerkiness and skip frames and such. But whatever, like I said, there's no wrong way or right way. You do what you want. A lot of people like to chime in on Facebook with like, you're doing it wrong and blah, blah, blah. And I'm guilty of it as well. I'm always like, you don't know what you're talking about. But at the same time, at the end of the day, if you're enjoying your flight experience, you're enjoying your flight experience. And that's that. Like right now I'm enjoying my flight. Everything seems fine. Nothing is wrong with my sim as far as I can tell. But if I join up with like 10 to 20 other people, my frame rates will go up and down, up and down. And right now I've been locked. It's locked at my target frame rate and it's absolutely perfect, But that could change. I don't know what's going on with DLSS 4.5. I don't know how they work this magic. It's not I'm not a software engineer. I'm not a programmer or anything like that, so I couldn't tell you the ins and outs of it all. But what I can tell you are my experiences, and my experience is good. And my coffee is getting cold, as always. Alright, I'm going to put her down and end the video. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I won't be able to answer all of them, I'm sure. But I'll do my best to give you anything that I know that might be able to help you or not. And if I don't know, it's just as easy for me to just say, I don't know. I don't know. I said I don't know. I might get a little frame rate drop here because for some reason this little area right here, it might just be where, the area has to load in the next area or something, but sometimes I get a little hiccup right around here, but it comes back so fast. And sometimes I don't get it. Sometimes it's fine. Like right now, it's fine. Somebody mentioned in my comments about smooth motion not working with the latest drivers. It's working fine for me. I mean, it doesn't affect my VR performance at all or anything in VR, but it does absolutely affect my mirror and makes it a lot smoother. For the people who say that my videos are jerky because of my head motions, if I wasn't using smooth motion, it would be a hell of a lot worse, believe me. Because all my videos before smooth motion was enabled were pretty, because I was talking a lot, but it's a lot better with smooth motion enabled, and that's the only reason I use it is for the mirror, for the recordings. All right, coming in. I'll swing around and come in from the other side. Going a little fast right now. Yeah, I mean, DLSS 4.5 is so good, image quality wise, that I had to turn down quite a bit of my sharpness settings that I had prior. Turn them way down because it was over sharp. Things were just looking really, really, really sharp, and it was distracting, and it wasn't looking that great. But once I turned everything down, I was using driver level sharpening through the NVIDIA driver. Not image scaling, but driver sharpening, which you have to do a little something on the registry to enable. But that works exceptionally well for things like DLSS 4 to get your image nice and sharp. And it does so without scaling the image resolution, so you don't get the your frame rate doesn't get affected at all. Highly recommend you look into that if you're not using it. But with DLSS 4.5, it's less important. But with DLSS 4, it was like a godsend for image quality. Going a little fast. Drop some flaps. Trim up. I like to land it around 110, 120 just because I think I like the speed. Helps my butter landing, like right there. Butter, dude. No bouncing. Which is pretty hard in this P-51. It's not the easiest plane to fucking land or take off, to be honest. It took me a lot of practice to get to a point where I can land this thing without bouncing it. And I don't do it all the time. It's not like I'm a master at it yet, but I've gotten a lot better. Anyway, thanks for watching.